Hey, what's up, everybody? This is going to be a little bit of a quick review right here. I did watch Sacrifice last night, and I could have waited till Tuesday to talk about what happened on that Impact Plus show, but there was a lot of newsworthy things and some surprising outcomes that happened, and I got a couple things to say about this show. I'm going to probably go quick through the undercard matches on here, but overall, it was a pretty fun show, though, I will say that, and I did enjoy it. I was surprised by a few things, so I'm going to try to go through this a little bit fast, so I'm going to get through the undercard first. Decay, what was it, Black Taurus and Crazy Steve went against Reno Scum. Decay won. Basically, Taurus doing his finisher on him. That was a pretty good match, I'll give it that. Next was Havoc and Nevaeh versus Tennille Dashwood and Caleb. Basically, Nevaeh got the pin onto Dashwood, but Caleb basically pushed him over, so once again, Nevaeh is still kind of questioning herself on what she should do out there and why she cannot beat Tennille, mostly due to Caleb, even though he had a neck brace on too, but still having problems doing that. So yeah, Tennille Dashwood and them get the win. Also, this was actually somewhat newsworthy right here. Chris Sabin and James Storm with Jake something went against Violent by Design, Joe Dorian Diener. Eric Young was out there. Pretty good match, I will say that. Now, the big surprise was, in a way, Rhino coming out and attacking. Well, he didn't come out, but he looked like he was going to get Eric Young because if you remember, Rhino and Heath Slater were taken out by Eric Young and Joe Dorian like a few months ago. I know Slater's not around right now due to injury, and I think he had surgery not that long ago. But Rhino ended up spearing Sabin, taking him out. So I guess Rhino is now joined Violent by Design. Some probably didn't know what was going on other than how I just explained it. I still think Jake something was probably going to join him if they could somewhat convert him, but having Rhino now part of that group, they are making Eric Young's new faction look strong. Will they make Rhino look different and change his whole thing like they did Cody Deaner out there? Then again, Rhino's had the same look since freaking ECW, so I'm not saying they're going to cut his hair. Maybe they'll give him new gear. I don't know what they're going to do with Rhino, but it's just he's wore that gimmick and gear for so long. He doesn't really look different to me, even still to this day. But I am intrigued what's going to happen right here now, since they did add another member to the group. Ow. They did add another member to the group with Rhino out there. So we'll see what happens with that. Next, though, we had Eddie Edwards versus Brian Myers in a whole harmless match. This was good. I actually enjoyed this. Some would say it's more the typical, hardcore stuff, which it's basically a no DQ match. I know they be coming up with these strange names for it, but I know Hernandez was involved in the match, and even it's Matt Cardona who also got involved. Basically helping Eddie Edwards, which Myers, he was going to use that loaded thing, try to put in his elbow, but Eddie Edwards ended up getting it and putting it in his knee, hitting him with the Boston Knee Party, basically a loaded knee, beating Brian Myers in this match. But it was not bad, though. Pretty good match. Like I said, they've been doing really well with Brian Myers. I guess that whole little undefeated streak thing is over, but they've really got him away from, him being known as Kurt Hawkins. When he first kind of came over here, it was like, oh, he basically looks the same. It's just under a different name. He had the same color scheme, but given that, I know his finisher is basically clothesline or just a big lariat and whatnot, and, how they, made him the most professional wrestler and whatnot. I've been enjoying Myers, so I do like that. I don't really need to see a feud with him and Matt Cardona because it just feels like the Edgeheads, and this is Zack Ryder versus Kurt Hawkins again, and I don't really need to see that. But overall, still a good match. Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz, Fire and Flavor went against Jordan Grace and Jazz for the Knockouts Tag Titles. Good match. I didn't really expect Jordan Grace to take the pin right here, but, Kiera Hogan did her finisher on it. I actually thought Jazz would have just taken the pinfall, but no, they had Jordan Grace take the pinfall here. But still a very good match, and Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz hold the Knockouts Tag Titles. I didn't really expect them to lose it. TJP went against Ace Austin. Probably one of the better matches of the night. I wouldn't say the best match, but it was a really good match, though. But one of the better ones. TJP and Ace Austin. I liked this match. I liked it a lot. But I did have a feeling, though, that Ace Austin was still going to win the X Division title back, which I'm cool with because he ended up stomping on both of TJP's hands and whatnot, and then he ended up hitting the fold on him. So Ace Austin is the X Division champion, and given that he won that Super X Cup thing, I'm glad they're going somewhere with Ace. Some still believe he needs to be in the main event scene and not the X Division scene since he's kind of conquered that already, but maybe they're not ready to put him there as of right now. So I'm cool with him being in the X division right now. So at least he's kind of in the spotlight right now because he kind of fell off when they've been making him a tag team with Madman Fulton. It's like he's somewhat been in the picture, but it's like he kind of disappeared off a little after Bound for Glory, and he wasn't really on the hard to kill pay per view. So they still protected Ace Austin in a way, and I'm cool with him being a champion. I had no problem with TJP being there, but I didn't feel like that was really going anywhere with Perkins. Um, what was I know they had some Swingers Palace thing, which what was it? I think didn't what's his name Scott Demore tell him to check in the website for something to do with Tennille and I think it was Alicia Edwards. I probably is a match. Deonna Purrazzo went against ODB for the Knockouts title. I know Kimberly and Susan were out there, which they ended up throwing them out. But this was still a pretty good match. Not bad. Never really thought Deonna was ever going to lose the title to ODB. So, still, solid match. But come on, Deonna was going to win regardless. Now, this was surprising to me right here in this tag match. And it was still a very good tag match, too. Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows versus Finn Juice, Juice Robinson, and Finley. Now, I didn't really know these Impact Plus shows were taped. I actually thought those were live. I know the pay-per-views are live. I know the rest of the show is taped, but I didn't know the Plus show was taped. And I say that because Finn Juice are currently in Japan right now in the New Japan Cup. And listen, I've been watching that tournament. I'm like, wait a minute, they're already back in Japan, and how are they doing this? I'm like, obviously I know the show is taped every Tuesday, but I actually thought the Plus shows were actually, were actually live. But I think that's just only pay-per-views. But this was a good match and a very surprising title change right here. I didn't really think, Finn Juice were really going to win it. They ended up hitting like the Doomsday device on Carl Anderson for the win. I'm very surprised by that. I didn't really expect that to happen. I know they've been calling them young boys for a while, but I guess the young boys have outsmarted the veterans and whatnot. Now, obviously, I know Carl Anderson and Gallows are on AEW right now, too, so I guess they won't be showing up with the tag belts. Now, if I tune in to New Japan, probably on the next show, are they going to start showing up with the Impact tag titles? Because, listen, I know New Japan and Impact have a partnership. I've even seen New Japan post a little bit of Impact content on their website on New Japan World. So, obviously, this partnership is going somewhere right now. So, whenever I check next in on NJPW, I'll see if they show up with the Impact tag titles on there. So, I was very surprised by this outcome. But next was the main event. Moose versus Swan. Unification title match for the Impact and TNA title. This was a good match. This was insane. I like that freaking cutter Swan did doing a springboard. His little like cutter and Moose jumping off the top rope. I loved it when Moose did like a this was cool as fuck to me. This dude ran up the turnbuckle on the Swan and hit him with a big moonsault like fallaway slam, and it looked cold as hell. Okay, I liked that match a lot. Now, something I didn't like about the finish of it. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna say this because I even said this last Tuesday, and I would have booked this a different way. Now, Moose run into the turnbuckle 3 times, and he ended up running in the chair. I don't know how he fell for that. Like, dude, you didn't see the chair you put there. I thought that was kind of odd, and Moose kept charging into him, and Swan ended up jumping over him and get him with a roll-up pin, and Moose looked surprised. And, Swan won the title, well, both the titles now, so he will face Kenny Omega at Rebellion. Now, I didn't want either man to win right here. I would have booked it a different way. And I know some people said Moose should have won. And yeah, I would agree with you, but I don't want Moose just winning the freaking title just to drop it to Omega a month later. That would look stupid as hell. I would not like to see that. Now, I would have booked this a different way, though. I would say that they could have did like a fuck finish here, like a DQ. Somebody could have ran out. Maybe Omega himself if he was on that taping or whatnot. But they could have did DQ finish here. And then you could have done a triple threat match at Rebellion. Omega pin Swan. We all know Kenny's doing the belt collector thing. Omega's got both the belts then, or all 3 belts since it's the TNA and Impact title. So I guess you would have all 3 belts. And then Moose can come back and say, hey, you didn't beat me. This can build into Slammiversary. If you want to go and build that far, go Slammiversary. I'm not going to go into details of, how far in between it can go, because I would still say, Impact Town need to be showing up on, the AEW and whatnot on Dynamite. But yeah, you could build a Slammiversary, and in the main event Slammiversary, you can have Moose versus Omega, and Moose can win the title back there. That's what I would go with, because it would protect Moose. But then again, Moose's contract is supposedly coming up in June, so I don't know, because some would say he would just be AEW bound, which I could see him going to if that happens, if his contract is up. But like I said, with his contract coming up, I'm not really sure. Like I said, it was a roll up, so it protects Moose in a way, and it wasn't a no DQ match, so his head hit the chair. So obviously, something is still gonna happen leading into Rebellion. Okay, now I would like to see Swan actually show up on AEW and confront Omega, because that was my problem with the Hard to Kill build. It's like, hey, can the damn Impact talent show up on AEW at least? Because man, even before the go home show, the Hard to Kill, I expected Rich Swann and Motor City Machine Guns to at least come out and attack him and like, hey, our pay-per-view, make sure at Hard to Kill, we're going to get you to get viewers to tune in and whatnot if they're watching AEW. But no, we didn't see that. I've already discussed my whole opinion on this partnership between Impact and AEW. It feels very, 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 very one-sided. It really does. And listen, and I like Rich Swann, and I'm sure he'll have a great match with Kenny Omega, but obviously everybody knows he is not the guy to beat Omega, because we know Omega's going to win that damn match, okay? Now, it could lead to, like, Moose said, you just beat a farce champion or something like that. It could be something where you could still do Moose versus Omega. I would like to see that, because like I said before, I wouldn't want Moose winning it now and then losing it up to a month later, because then if that happens, who else is credible from Impact to really face Eddie Edwards? I said Eddie Edwards. What the fuck? That's actually what I'm going into. Who else is really more credible to face Omega? Could it be Eddie Edwards? He's been there for a while. Like, don't get me wrong, Eddie's not bad at anything. I question, the current gimmick and whatnot, but who else is really that credible if Omega would beat Moose at Rebellion? Clean. Think about that. Who else would be credible to face Omega later on and get the belts back then? Because I get it with Swan winning this match. It could be redemption, of course, because yes, Kenny Omega did pin Rich Swann at Hard to Kill. That is true. They want payback on him. Now, I do expect some screwy finish at Rebellion. I would expect Gallows and Anderson or something screwy to happen with Omega winning the title. So I would expect that, okay? I really would. So it's a lot of ways this is going to go. Like I said, I would have booked it a different way, but I still think it can lead into Moose winning the title back one way or another, okay? So I'm not even sure where this could go, but we will see. We will see. But, overall, this was a very newsworthy show, and whatnot. Like I said, there were some interesting title changes here from the X Division to the tag titles. And, of course, Swan getting both the titles, Rhino joining Violent by Design and whatnot. So, not bad at all. But I think the most everybody's talking about is just the whole world title situation and what's going to lead into Rebellion. And maybe Rich Swann will show up on AEW. You would think, but I don't know. I don't know. All I can just say is we just got to wait and see. But other than that, that's just my little quick review, my quick thoughts on Sacrifice. It was an enjoyable show. It was straightforward and nothing too screwy and whatnot. So I liked it, and I'll give them credit. They really have built these plus shows and whatnot. So I was cool with the card, but now it's time to build the pay-per-view for next month, okay? So we'll see what goes on with that. So other than that, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.